Greetings, friends. It's me, Wayman. Welcome to Religion Think, and this is a video going out to Christopher L. and all this controversy that he's going through within his mind about whether he should leave a church or stay. And right off the bat, as you can see, friends, I shave too. But Chris, it's not because I was overweight. I'm required at times at work to wear a respirator, and it's a lot easier to wear a respirator on my face rather than a whole hood. So it's basically when we clean and stuff. But anyways, this is the thing. I don't think you're going to get along with anybody at any church. And I think the most important thing, and probably why you went to this church in the first place, was the message. And in my opinion, my personal opinion, people like you can destroy church communities because you stay. And this is the thing. Back when I was a kid, my grandfather came out of old-time Free Methodist, very strict congregation, very strict Protestant group. And he started going to church in this other denomination. And he liked the message, but he didn't like what they did because it was a dramatic change from old-time Free Methodist to where he went currently before his passing. And so every Sunday you would get the sermon after the sermon, but he wouldn't tell anybody else unless they asked. And he had respect for the church community, and he had respect for what they did, but he just refused to participate in those things. And if you continue to go to this church, that's what I would do. And Grandpa would be all upset. He would say, the church would have a church picnic, and he would say, oh, I don't believe in church picnics. And on the way home, he'd tell you why he didn't believe in church picnics. And he'd say, well, I don't care. You guys can go to the church picnic, but for me, I'm not going to go. And that's what he did. And even little things used to annoy him, like a minister was supposed to have a black coat, black tie, white shirt, black pants behind the pulpit. And Grandpa thought that you would not be allowed, if you were a minister, to take off your coat while you're preaching behind the pulpit. When preachers did that, it used to annoy him. But he didn't say anything. He just talked about it on the way home. So I guess what I'm saying is that you cannot go in to a church at first for the message and then try to change everything about that church. They were there before you came there, and who are you to tell a pastor what to do? He's working really hard on what he thinks he knows is right. He's got to manage the church. Then he has somebody come in whining and complain about stuff that he's doing. This is the thing. To modernize the church, you might disagree with this. You're definitely going to disagree with this, and you probably identify more with Pastor George on here. Pastor George is evangelical who thinks he's Jewish, and I think that you're an evangelical who thinks like a Jehovah's Witness, who might be leaning towards early church Catholicism. I don't know. Anyways, you should leave. If you're going to do that, if you're going to tell the pastor how to run his church, you should leave. And if you can't get along with, don't participate in the community. Don't participate in the church community if you're there to start trouble. You either help them with the harvest, hop on a tractor, and start mowing the field, rather than standing around arguing about what tractor you're going to use, if you're going to do the whole thing by hand. And I think that ends up becoming a huge issue. I have a friend who's Methodist, and he's in Boy Scouts, really involved with Boy Scouts, and a lot of youth activities, and he tries, as youth directors, they try to incorporate some of those things in with church functions for the kids. And he does a great job. They have Xbox 360 night. So what do? They come in, they play video games for a half an hour, 45 minutes, have a Bible lesson, Bible study. And at least they're hearing about whatever you're teaching them, while they're having a good time fellowshipping with one another. And it's pretty interesting how it takes, because those things are the competition nowadays. It used to be something else before, but those things, multimedia, internet, sports, competition nowadays. And a lot of times people, if they can't connect, they're not going to show up. They're not going to stay. They become bored with the process, and you say, well, whatever, just let them go. Well, that's not finishing the harvest. So, Chris, I think you better get out of there before you damage that church. Or just don't participate in the community. Use it as a lesson for your own kids. Say, hey, if you guys want to participate in these events, that's fine with me. I disagree with that. However, I'm not saying that you guys can't do that, but this is why I can't do that. We're going home. No big deal. We come here for the message. And the message that our church teaches should be the number one thing. And that's one thing that really bothered my grandfather, is that a lot of times all these church functions and all these other things kind of took the place of the message. And even though he disliked some of the preachers, even though he disliked some of the customs, even if he disliked some of the events the church had and did and the way that they were doing it, he still went every single Sunday and listened to the message. And if he felt that he should not participate in the church community on some events, he didn't. And that's the thing. I don't think that you should be going into a church and splitting it up. And another possibility, like people have done for ages, and they still continue to do, you can't get along with anybody, go off and do it yourself. And I don't know. What do your kids think about this? Hi, I'm 30 years old, and I'm Christopher L's kid. We went to 28 different churches. Dad could never figure out, which church was a good church to attend. We never believed in all these holidays, and this is why. And I bet that, I don't know, that's got to be doing something. So, what kind of community do you want? And if it's not there, you need to create that yourself, rather than splitting up other communities and trying to tell pastors how to run their churches. They got a big enough job to do rather than babysit their followers. They need to be going out into the field and telling people the good news. And if they have to sit at home in the house and babysit everybody, because everybody's whining about everything they do, no work gets done. So, just my opinion. I know it probably sounded like a stern talking, but there you go, Christopher L. That's just my opinion. I've seen churches fall. I've seen them divide. I've seen whole half churches follow pastors when they've left. I've seen church divisions, and I've seen churches with only 3 people in them wondering how they're going to pay the heat bill. So, I don't know. Maybe you go to a mega church where you're a small dot in a mass of a sea, and sip a latte and enjoy the message and go home. Nobody will know if you participate in the community or not. But, I don't know. But I'm sure you'll find your way. You ain't got a choice. You don't have a choice. So take care, friends, and remember, if everybody's thinking alike, then somebody isn't thinking.